Hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right. So here we go. Let's jump on into this. Okay. So this is part two. If you didn't see part one yet, there was a free link right there in the description box. You can check that out and then bounce back over here. Okay. So this, I'm just going to kind of pick up because we were leaving on a bit of a cliffhanger, and I feel like we didn't really get a whole lot of understanding about what happens now. We can see that we have possibly a masculine who's just walked away from a karmic. He is just now getting around after all this time to reading a letter. I'm sorry, I know my hands are all cut up. I'm sorry. It's the season where I'm very busy outside in the garden and I just get trashed. So please forgive me for that. I'm so sorry. I should probably have a band-aid over that. It's not really a boo-boo anymore. It's just a nick that still is visible. But sorry about that. I just noticed. If you're a gardener, you know exactly what I'm talking about. All right. So we've got the Ace of Cups here, and it is sideways. He's just now reading this letter. And what I wanted to kind of get to is, what's he feeling? What's the emotional status? What's going on with him? What's on his mind at this point, right? To have that Ace of Cups sideways. And we saw him with the Nine of Wands back in part one also. He's seemingly at a place where the thought now is, I wonder how she feels. The person that he walked away from oh so long ago, because I think he reconnected with his karmic and chose to stay with a karmic. We even saw in part one, he may have decided to remarry his karmic. And I don't know if he attempted to tell this. I've been calling her the empathic individual, that Cancerian energy that we saw for her. But he decided to walk away from a woman that he barely met, what was really excited to have met, but instead he went back to a karmic and reconnected to a karmic. At the same time, this woman that he walked away from has sent a letter a very long time ago saying, although I love you, I need to stay away from you because it's no good for me. But it looks like he had already basically, I'm going to say, more or less cut her out of his life. But at this point, reading her letter now, there is this sense of awareness. Wow, she did love me. I wonder how she feels about me now. That's kind of rich coming from him, considering he seemed to have left himself, all of the leeway in the world to make decisions about what he needed to do, without really giving anything to her. But he does wonder. Seven of Wands. He knows that there's a lot of obstacles to him responding to this now, even though his first thought is, I need to go say sorry to that feminine that I walked away from all that time ago. That's his first thought when he walks away from his karmic, which is seemingly what's happening right now. His first thought is to her. He finally goes and reads the letter that she sent him. I don't know how long ago it was. And on one hand, it actually makes him feel pretty good. With that Nine of Wands, wounded warrior, yes, but still, at the Nine of Wands is almost at the 10. He's confirmed he made the right decisions to walk away from a karmic. Finally, he feels great knowing that she really did love him. This feminine who wrote him a goodbye letter that he's just now reading. But I wonder if she still feels that way about me. I wonder if she still loves me. I wonder. There's so much blocking this. He's flooded by memories of everything to do with her. He's flooded with memories and the memories of the obstacles that he faced back then. So he's kind of living in the past right now, even though he's very much in his present, and in his present moment, he just walked away from his karmic. So he's realizing that was his Empress. He knew that the woman that he walked away from was his Empress. He remembers that. He knew that he was in the presence of somebody that he should respect, that he should, treat like an Empress. That's how he felt about her, yet that's still the person that he walked away from, and he went and he returned to a karmic. So there's a lot to unravel on this. At this point, let me just change decks and let's go over to, we'll call her now the Empress, instead of calling her the woman who sent him the letter to say, I have to stay away from you. You are not giving to me properly. sure enough, he had already withdrawn from her though, because he decided to go back to his karmic. So now we know that this woman is actually the Empress, even in his own eyes. And as bizarre as this sounds, he had tremendous respect for this feminine and even more respect for her when he reads this letter that she sent all that time ago. It feels super offensive that he would have handled things the way he did. But let's just talk about her. Where is she at today? The Devil. Okay, she unfortunately could still be hooked on him. I would hate to think that, but no, I take that back. We literally have the Devil and the Awakening. She is, ironically, she was hooked on him for a very long time. Even though she walked away from him, she hadn't really let him go. She may have actually come to a conclusion that he was very toxic for her. She may have worked through that, and she finally was able to release it. She made peace with the fact that there was something very wrong about, the way things had happened with her and them. Maybe she felt this person was, that he was super toxic, that he tried to intentionally get what he could from her. And she's finally made peace with that. He was toxic. So she wasn't hooked on him. She was trying to make peace with the fact that he was maybe a really selfish individual. And, I have to say, I can't disagree. We haven't seen him come across as anyone other than a deeply selfish individual or an immature person at best. He returned to a karmic after having met her. He rudely, seemingly disconnected from her. I don't even think there was much explanation. That's what he feels sorry about, because it was like handing her a porcupine. I don't know if he said something very minimal, if he barely spoke to her, cut her out of his life, and then she had to respond to him to tell him the entire thing. Like, it feels like you are, someone that I shouldn't be around because it's wrecking the way I feel about myself. She had to do the communication of, this is not okay. And it almost feels like all of this in her mind, as she summarized it, she's like, he was toxic and I let that go. So this is actually great. So the Empress did let him go completely. In fact, I think that her heart is pretty light at this point. She seems pretty happy. Death and rebirth. She's rocking major arcana all through this. She's definitely over him. She's let him go. She let go of this entire situation. Good for her. That feels like she's able to breathe. So what has her life become? We have got the 10 of Wands. We got the 7 of Pentacles. Awesome. Her life has gotten lighter and brighter all the time. She's forgotten him more and more, and she's built and planted new seeds in her life. So at this point, I don't even know, is there anything? I know he's finally left a karmic and he's immediately thinking about her, and he's immediately thinking back and remembering, wow, she was really amazing, even more amazing now that I'm finally getting around to reading the letter that she sent me all that time ago. Only an Empress would cut me off the way she did. Only an Empress would tell me how it is. Only an Empress would behave the way she did. God, she's an Empress. Yeah, well, she is, but I'm not sure what that means at this point, because that Empress moved on with her life just the way an Empress would, and it's been a long time. Again, we see long time has passed and a lot of growth in her life. I hope she's got her sights set on something wonderful. Let's see. The moon. The moon is like, she still doesn't even know all the things that she's planted in her life. She doesn't even realize yet the scope of what will be growing. Her garden is going to be full. Her garden of life is going to be chock full of all kinds of wonderful things. Her world will be full of, relationships, opportunities, business things, financial things are going to be growing. She doesn't even know the half of what she's already put into the works, which is pretty awesome. So she's got a lot of prosperity growing. Yeah, 8 of Pentacles. Many things that she has dedicated herself to are going to be part of her lifetime legacy. She may have built relationships, friendships, partnerships with people that they're going to be long lasting. She has a scaffolding or a network of opportunities for wealth, for money, for prosperity, and people that loyally care about her. So, I would expect that from an Empress, right? So let's just check in then and say, what is going on with him at this point? What's the big message on this one? What is he going to be doing because he's just now free. Alchemy, he's definitely going to try to reach back out to her. He's definitely going to try to get into her world somehow. He's definitely going to be putting forth some kind of effort to Three of Wands, to somehow try to reach out. This literally somebody in their astronaut suit waving hello from Mars. This is that Sagittarian energy of Temperance. He's going to try really hard to casually reach out to her, maybe wave the white flag. He's going to do it though from I'm going to say seemingly a hidden way, like not show his face, right? He's got that helmet on still. This could be anywhere from 3 days to 3 months that he's going to be reaching out to say hi, but it may be like a really silly text, or maybe he's finally going to respond to her. Interesting though, because we have the Ten of Swords. I think he's responding to her goodbye letter. And I think he's going to reach out to her and be like, I just now read this. I completely understand why you walked away from me. I completely understand. Yeah, I was really in a place where I was still trying to heal. Yeah, balance, justice. He's trying to create balance, but also I think he's trying to skirt responsibility in his behavior, because this is super unfair, but he's trying to turn it into something balanced. This is an injustice. He's addressing, it is good that you walked away from me. I really admire the fact that you did. It's true. I was, we've got all these hospital beds. So it's like, I was really imbalanced at the time. It's so good that you did walk away from me. Almost like, yay, good job, you, instead of saying, I ran away from you. I went back to an ex. I was decided to stay in karmic cycles. I did you dirty. I don't see him doing this. I see him almost like, creating balance and all these flowers and like celebrating what a good job you did. Ooh, cringy, cringy, cringy. Good job that you walked away from me because I was just imbalanced. Ace of Swords. Maybe he'll get around to speaking a truth about like, if only I could go back in time, I would have handled it all differently. I'm sure that it's over by now, though, huh? It almost feels like he's just, I don't know. Is he going to get any reaction from her, any response? Universe, why don't you weigh in? Is the Empress going to be responding to him at all at this point? We got the Eight of Swords sideways. She's not going to get stuck on this. She may, like, in the back of her mind be like, I don't know, do I respond? Do I say anything to his, his unexpected, sudden, out of the blue reach out? Ace of Wands sideways. Part of her is just kind of curious. What the hell are you reaching out to me for? And the other part of her is like, do I even need to know? Some mysteries don't need to be solved in life. Okay, so the universe is like, she's kind of two minds about it and not obsessing about it either way. Princess of Cups upright. If anything, he hasn't apologized with what we've seen he'll be reaching out with. She may say, what I wonder is this his apology? Is that what this is? She may actually feel entitled to an apology from him, but realize that he's trying to creep in and sidestep that. What does that mean, universe? What's the message for her? Queen of Swords, it's a good time to just say bye-bye. If there's any final anything to say, so the Queen is actually waving goodbye here. What does that mean? Is she going to write to him and say, it's okay, I got over this, I got over you a long, long, long time ago? Or is she not going to say anything? Is silence going to be it? We have the Nine of Cups. She's going to feel lighter and brighter. Whatever action she chooses to take, it will make her entire, like, it is giving her a final closure. I do not see her taking him back. I do not see her reconnecting to him. I see her life getting lighter and brighter. She may realize he's trying to apologize to me without saying it. And that could be enough for her to be like, that's as much as I'm ever going to get from him. And that's okay. I can let this one go. I can let this go. I kind of already did, but now I'm really happy that I didn't end up with the wrong person. I mean, she may say something like, hey, don't worry about it. Good luck to you in life, because she's really over it. If I'm more inclined to say that, like she's going to say, hey, don't worry about it. I got over it. It really wasn't anything at all that bogged me down after all. If I wrote an emotional letter at some point in time in the past, honestly, that was like a whole different version of me. Anyway, we're all good. You good luck to you in life. And then she goes out and she celebrates. She could go out dancing, having a great time. She could meet somebody new. If that is, how is he going to react to that kind of brush off? The Chariot. We go right back to he's realizing that that letter that she wrote all that time ago, which back in part 1, we saw her as the Chariot, that she really meant it, as an Empress typically does. If they say goodbye, it's a goodbye. He's going to realize that that was it for her. The words that she said to him, I got to stay away from you because you are bringing me down here. This isn't right. We have the Empress sideways. He's going to realize that that really was the moment that she meant it. That was a moment that he should have realized at that moment that he had no business treating an Empress like that. He may realize that she was not a Queen of Cups, not in love with him, but she was an Empress who deserved more. She deserved better. He shouldn't have had to figure it out later. He should have known it. So he's really reflecting on what she's made up of, who she is. Ace of Pentacles. I definitely think that this is one of those lessons he'll never forget from here on out. You know, I do think this is like the turning point. He knows it was a turning point for her. And, you know, I have to say this. Sometimes we think that the story is about one character, right? You know, it's like, oh, his journey. How come he stayed with the karmic? How come he didn't, you know, choose the Empress? Now he's awakening to realizing that she's an Empress. That's not what the story actually is. The story here is that she awakened to being an Empress and realizing she did deserve better. Now, when she responds, he realizes the same thing. Because she met me and I didn't treat her right, she really stepped into full-blown Empress mode. Damn, I was the catalyst that told her she deserved a hell of a lot better than what I was giving her. She knows her worth because I tried to treat her as less than what her worth was. And we have the generosity of air, which is, again, that Queen of Swords. She put up boundaries, and I'm the one who taught her that she has to put up boundaries with people that treat her like I do. I would say that this really is her story. This is the reaction of all of this, is that he's realizing with this huge energy of like respect that she has a ton of self-respect, that she always deserved more, and that she knows it, and that's it. She's done with him. But it's interesting how his bad behavior, if we want to even call it that, it seemed pretty disrespectful. It did. The way he handled everything was super disrespectful. But it looks like he realizes she was always an Empress, and I should never have treated her that way, but man, she really knows what she is and what she's worth. And she really showed up as an Empress during the time that I was basically trying to give her a lot less than she was worth, and she wouldn't have it. I do think that there's this huge sense of admiration for all she is and who she is, but it's a huge sense of awareness also on his part, but I think also on hers. All right, I'm going to leave that one there. This is not a reconciliation story. This is a story of growth, but interestingly enough, she's the one who's done even more growing. And that's kind of the plot twist on this. All right, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up and subscribe.